To keep the federal government funded, to keep it operational, Congress has until next Friday, a week from today, March 14th. And by that time, they'll either pass a final government spending bill or they'll enact another temporary funding measure, better known as a continuing resolution or a CR, to extend the deadline. Well, according to reports, the House of Representatives plans to vote on a 6-month CR next Tuesday. And of course, that would be to avert a government shutdown. But given the slim margins in both the House and the Senate, what will it take for a CR to pass? Well, joining me now to discuss this and more is Congressman Michael Cloud. He serves on the House Appropriations Committee as well as the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. And he's also a member of the DOGE Subcommittee as well as the Freedom Caucus. He represents the 27th Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Cloud, welcome back to Washington Watch. Always great to see you, my friend.
Well, thank you. Good to be on with you again. Great to see you, Jody. So much going on right now. It's exciting to see.
Yeah, it is exciting to see. Man, you just don't know which plate to try to keep spinning the most. But I saw you and others that met with the president this past week, members of the Freedom Caucus. Great to see you and the others that were there. Tell us what went on. How'd that go?
Yeah, anytime you get to meet with the president, of course, it's a great time. He's a lot of fun. Aside from being just a tremendously hard worker, we got the chance to meet with him the day after the joint session of Congress. And so he walked in, certainly applauded the great effort there, the bold and clear vision he set out for the United States. And then we got to work talking about what we're going to do to address the funding deadline that comes up this week. And so I had some ideas thrown out there. Looks like we're making progress and headway, and certainly appreciate the president having us over and the leadership he's bringing to this country at this moment.
Absolutely, and I think he certainly saw the leadership that so many, but particularly the Freedom Caucus, seemed to lead the way on the resolution last week or the week before. Yeah. So here we go. All right, we've got a lot of fiscal hawks. Many of whom are in the Freedom Caucus, and many of them, I know, some never have voted for a continuing resolution, but there seems to be some shifts in Washington that maybe could change some of that. Can you speak into that?
Yeah, I certainly can. I'm certainly no fan of CRs myself. The whole notion of Congress continuing to kick the can down the road, so to speak, is very troubling. And considering that this originally started as a budget under the Biden administration, could give one pause. But as we look to where we're going, there's a couple things at play here. One is DOGE is doing some great work to uncover the waste, fraud, abuse, corruption that is happening in our federal government right now. But there's a lot more work to be done. And we need to give them a little bit of time to finish the work so that we can take the lessons learned, the savings to be found for the American people, and to work that into the appropriations process. And so in the meantime, we've got to keep the federal government running. And for many of us, you know, we can look at what the president's doing, the tremendous team he's put together, and how they're being so responsible in pulling back the reckless spending that the Biden administration did on things that were wasteful, things that were wrong, some things that were just frankly evil, and to rein in that kind of spending and making sure that taxpayer dollars are not going to those things for all the executive authority that they do have. And then when it comes to the continuing resolution, you know, for me, we trust what the president's doing. We appreciate what the team and the administration that he's put together, and we just need to make sure that Congress is fully on board. Not, you know, sometimes you'll see Congress will come out and make these big, bold claims when it comes to campaigning, and we just need to make sure that we are set and ready to make those same and to really basically just codify into law into the next budget cycle things you hear the president talking about. He talked about in the joint session about, hey, we want to get back to a balanced budget. You hear Elon talking about finding $1 and $2 trillion worth of savings. Well, I think we can do that. We need to make sure that Republicans in Congress have the backbone when it comes down to making those cuts and finding that savings for the American people and actually putting a vote down that we're going to have the votes to get there throughout the entire process, this being just the next hurdle in that process.
Yeah, and getting so many of these issues codified, as you said, I mean, that really is essential. I'm just going to throw this out to you. What's your sense on what the Democrats are going to do on the CR? Will they be for it or against it?
You know, if we could just point to a couple nights ago when they couldn't even applaud the First Lady of the United States or a 13-year-old boy who survived cancer, you know, you could only say that maybe there's just a handful. We had 10 people support the censure resolution against Al Green, who stood up waving his cane at the president. You know, so, you know, there's a good chance we'll pick up a few votes, but it seems to be anything that President Trump is for, they seem to be against, regardless of what it is. So I can't expect that we'll see a lot of support. I do think that if we get it out of the House, that we will see support, the needed support in the Senate to get it across the finish line. And then, of course, the president would be able to sign it in law, and then we can continue the great work that's being done in really making this a course correction. You know, all of us recognize, certainly all the Republicans recognize, and this is why you're seeing, you're seeing not necessarily unity ideas, but unity of purpose. And because of that, everybody's working toward the understanding and the goal that this is a unique moment in history, certainly a once-in-a-generational opportunity to truly make a course correction in our federal government. I think if you look through history, I don't know if you could name a time where a country was virtually headed off the fiscal cliff, not to mention all the other challenges we were facing with open borders and existential crises, where you've seen a country be able to make a course correction. So this is a unique opportunity that we have for us. We are intently focused on that goal. And because of that, you're seeing what may have seemed as trivial battles in the past kind of melt away in the context of the moment in history and the leadership that President Trump is bringing. Wow.
Yeah, this really is a moment in history, an opportunity like none other. You brought up Congressman Al Green from your state of Texas, and of course he has now been censured. But there's the effort now to strip him of some of his committee assignments or all of his committee assignments. What's your take on his actions and the response?
The actions were despicable. They certainly were. You know, we've all seen outbursts in Congress before. You know, you like to think we were at a place where we could appreciate the moment and what the people will refer to as the decorum of the House, so to speak. But I understand there's high passions and to have an outburst, but once called to order and given the opportunity to correct, to continue to sit there and to wave his cane, metal-tipped cane in the face of the president was just disgusting, frankly. And I'm certainly happy to see that Democrats joined us in censuring him. Removing him off committees would be a great next step. And, you know, this is what's happened in the past. We certainly saw the Dems do that to members who did Republican members who did much less egregious things. But for me, this isn't even an eye for eye kind of thing. What he did was just despicable. It was wrong. He had the opportunity to correct it. He didn't correct it. When it came back to the censure resolution, he did not accept the censure. He made a political show of it once again. And so you have an unrepentant heart here. It needs to be corrected.
Absolutely. Well, hats off to you for continuing that. Real quickly, we've only got less than a minute, but your work on the Oversight Committee, the sanctuary cities with the mayors, the sanctuary city mayors, what were your takeaways from that real quickly?
Well, it's amazing to see mayors come in and try to defend what is indefensible. And they try to use a linguistic shell game to sort of conflate legal immigration with illegal immigration. And certainly specifically in their cases, all that they were doing, the issue, or I should say the reason that they were there is because they're refusing ICE detainers, meaning you have people who've already been arrested in their custody and they're refusing to hand them over to federal authorities. The fact that they were unwilling to do that and to follow federal law says it's illegal to harbor people who are here illegally, which is exactly what they're doing. I wouldn't be surprised to see this follow up. Tom Homan's mentioned bringing criminal charges against them if there's not an immediate course correction in this. And so there needs to be change, there needs to be action. They were on the record under oath.
Absolutely.
Recognizing they understand that.
Congressman Michael Cloud of Texas, thank you. Always great to see you, and keep up your fantastic work.